Mia's Mock Draft Mondays are back. Let's talk about it. This first mock draft, no trades, just the obvious picks. And for me, there is no more obvious pick for your Jacksonville Jaguars than to select Mason Graham with the 5th overall pick. Yes, he currently weighs 296 pounds. Is that a cause for concern? The folks up there in Ann Arbor say he was playing somewhere between 310 and 315 during the season. He has a 13% pass rush win rate over the last 2 years, a stout run defender, all the boxes that other guys in the defensive lineman class aren't checking, namely leverage. You don't have to worry about that with Mason Graham because of his wrestling background, combined with a quick first step, quick hands, an elite motor. If you can pair him with a Robin to his Batman along that defensive line, I believe he can have the same success in the National Football League. The Jaguars' second-round pick in this week's mock draft is another name that I've floated for months. I believe he is an obvious match for this new administration, and that is Jack Betch, wide receiver, TCU. He can line up at all 3 slots. A more than willing blocker, crafty route runner, a guy who barely drops the ball. How about this one? He had the second highest EPA on all targets to only Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith in all of college football last year. Sure hands, great through contact, can play all 3 spots. Seems like an obvious fit for me, opposite Brian Thomas Jr., who he also played with in college. I have said for weeks I believe the Jaguars will double dip along the defensive line and the offensive line in this year's NFL draft. They take their second bite of the apple in the 3rd round in this week's mock draft with Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina, and their first bite of the apple along the O-line with Tate Ratledge, the mullet man, out of the University of Georgia. Who's the second offensive lineman I have them taking? And do I have the Jaguars dipping into the secondary in round 4? Head on over to 1010XL.com for the complete version of Mia's Mock Draft Monday, brought to you by One Night Taco Stand 1.0.